Welcome back, everybody. I'm David Schuster, live in Washington.
And I'm Tamron Hall, live in New York.
And Tamron, in the big picture, the first U.S. Marines have deployed from Camp Lejeune as part of President Obama's escalation of the war in Afghanistan. 200 Marines are already on their way. More than 1,500 from Camp Lejeune are expected to head out before Christmas. And according to a congressional study, those troops will have contracting help. At least half the total military workforce in Afghanistan will be made up of private contractors. Up to 56,000 additional contractors could be sent to Afghanistan, bringing the total number of contractors there to somewhere between 130 and 160,000. Jeremy Scahill is the author of Blackwater, The Rise of the World's Most Powerful Mercenary Army. Jeremy, first of all, what do you make of this? Are you surprised, and what's the issue? Well,
I'm not surprised. I mean, David, this looks a lot like an Obama administration jobs creation program, except the jobs are not going to be for Americans, and it's for the benefit of large war corporations. I mean, what we're seeing here, David, is a trajectory that began under the Bush administration, this incredible reliance on the private sector to fight these wars. And I have to say that Obama now is heading towards surpassing the Bush-era level of reliance on these for-profit war corporations. These guys are like the American Express card of U.S. military operations. They can't leave home without them now.
And, Jeremy, a part of the problem, in addition to the number of contractors, is the oversight of these individuals once they are there.
Right. I mean, I did a report recently that showed that the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction actually has outsourced parts of the oversight to another corporation, Deloitte & Touche, which is actually helping to prepare reports for Congress on the actions of other contractors. I mean, the military itself, and that's a much bigger bureaucracy, has trouble tracking actual military operations, not to mention 160,000 private contractors that work for 600 different corporations. It's a huge problem, Tamron.
Here's what President Obama said when he was then candidate Barack Obama. This is again about the use of private contractors. He said, "I don't believe that they should be able to run amok and put our own troops in danger, get paid 3 or 4 times or 10 times what our soldiers are getting paid." And here's what Hillary Clinton, now Secretary of State, former candidate Clinton, said about the use of private contractors in Iraq. Quote, "These private security contractors have been reckless and have compromised our mission in Iraq. The time to show these contractors the door is long past due. We need to stop filling the coffers of contractors in Iraq and make sure that armed personnel in Iraq are fully accountable to the U.S. government and follow the chain of the command." Are there some of the same issues with contractors in Afghanistan as Senator Clinton, now Secretary of State Clinton, identified in Iraq?
Of course. I mean, and the painful irony of it is that Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail vowed to ban these contractors, and now she is guarded in part by Blackwater, perhaps the most unaccountable of all contractors when she goes into Afghanistan. We saw, and you guys have covered it, that huge frat party that was thrown by Armor Group, the contractor hired to protect the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. I mean, this is just a law-free zone and an accountability-free zone. And while the Obama administration has paid a lot of lip service to oversight and cracking down, they're actually expanding them at a pace that outweighs anything even vaguely resembling oversight or accountability.
Jeremy, is there anything that these contractors do that our military could? In other words, is this simply an effort by the administration to hold down the numbers of U.S. military troops so that you can essentially hide how big the surge really is?
Well, let's put the cold hard fact on the table, David. Without a draft, the fact of the matter is that these wars wouldn't be possible but for hiring these private contractors. All of these contractors, be they armed or unarmed, are all doing jobs that are traditionally have been performed by the U.S. military. This is part of the radical privatization of war, and it's become a staple of U.S. national military operations abroad.
And, Jeremy, do you see this changing anytime soon?
Changing for the worse, David. It's as we see from this Congressional Research Service report, the Obama administration is increasing the reliance on it. So I think this is it should be one of the premier issues investigated by the Congress in the context of this surge. And unfortunately, you can count the number of lawmakers that have made this a priority on both hands.
Jeremy Scahill, author of Blackwater, the world's most powerful mercenary army. Jeremy, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.